and welcome to this first Soma Centering Flow Taster session. So what is this movement? Well, this movement is a combination of the somatic movement that is mostly floor-based work, the somatic integration mobility course, which is all standing work with some modified yoga postures to give it that kind of flow feel. We will be working on joints and bony structures rather than working on your muscles. So we look at what your bony structures are doing, and then we look at how that affects your muscular system. I'm going to try not to get too geeky on you about what things are doing. When these classes actually start to run live and in person after this lockdown, you can expect to come to these classes and learn a lot about your anatomy. So you're learning how you move, how your structure moves. You will be learning and understanding this, and also beginning to understand where you hold your habitual tension, which is the big thing with somatic movement. Now, I know a lot of you are really accomplished movers and you think that you know what your body is doing, but the aim of this practice is actually to find out where your body doesn't go. And when we come to do some of the tests at the beginning, you'll see with me quite clearly where I'm holding habitual tension. So I want you to keep a really open mind about this. So we're going to be working on connecting our centre with our periphery, so our extremities, particularly our feet. Today's practice is going to really focus on what happens between your feet and your pelvis, but we will be moving the rib cage and the head as well. Curiosity and honesty are key here. This is a learning process for your brain and your body. It's for you to start to be able to understand. So when we make some of these shapes, you may be able to make them without actually sensing what's going on and without moving your joints into the correct position. No point in this whatsoever. All you're doing is working into your habitual patterns, into your compensations. So rather than do the whole movement, once you've done the video once, I'd like you to maybe break it down, particularly when we get to the standing movements, and see if you can try and sense what happens through each joint structure in your body and how that affects your muscles. So we're going to start off in standing. And with somatic movement, we always do a body scan to start off with. So we're going to do a little movement test. We're going to come down to the floor. We're going to do a body scan. So I work at a computer all day long, and I'm right-handed. I'm also a movement instructor. I understand how my body works. I'm going to show you a forward fold. We're going to move into a forward fold, and I don't want you to take it to your limit. This is just where can you go without feeling any pain, without sensing any tension. To start off with first though, just watch what happens. So I'm just going to fold forwards. Can you see the difference in the length of my right arm, the length of my left arm? Now take a look at my shoulders. Right-handed, I sit at a computer all day. This is how my body has learned to hold itself. So now you come into your forward fold. Notice how far you can reach. Is there a discrepancy in the length of your arms? No need to change anything at all. This is all just information. It's all part of the learning process. Now you're going to bring yourself back up. And I'd like you to just see if you can try and sense and feel how your weight is falling down through your feet. Remember, there's no right, no wrong, no good, no bad. No need to try and equalize it at this point. Just notice, have you got more weight in one foot or the other? Is the weight in your heels or is it in your toes? Maybe it's in the heel of one foot and the toe of the other. Maybe at this moment in time, you're not sensing anything at all. So we're not used to sensing through our feet. Our feet spend all day in shoes. They've lost any kind of awareness, they've lost strength, and they've lost mobility. So if you're not feeling anything right now, that's fine. And then move through the structures of your body. So check in with your knees. Is one knee bent? Is one knee straight? Moving up to the hips. Do you feel that maybe one hip is higher than the other, or maybe there's a bit of rotation? Once again, first time you do these body scans, you're maybe not feeling much at all. But remember, it's all about awareness, recognizing and learning. Then sensing into your waist, maybe one side of your waist feels longer, one side of your waist feels shorter. What are your shoulders doing? Bearing in mind what you know about me, what are my shoulders doing? Is one shoulder forwards? Is one shoulder backwards? And then check in with your neck and your skull. Does it feel like your head is turned one way, turn the other? Is there more length on one side of your neck than the other? All just information. You're not broken, but it's all just information. So now we're going to bring ourselves back to stand against the wall. Your bum will be against the wall. Your heels will probably not be against the wall. They might be about an inch or so. I'd like you to see if you can stand with your bum against the wall, with the back of your rib cage against the wall, and with your skull against the wall. If you can't do it, that's fine. Just notice it. Notice where you are. How far is your rib cage from the wall? How far is your skull from the wall? If you can bring your rib cage to the wall, then check in with your skull. Is your skull still away from the wall? And what would you need to do to bring your skull to the wall? Would it mean tilting your chin backwards? Or can you bring your skull to the wall with your chin tilting down so your nostrils are parallel with the earth? And just stand here for a moment, noticing now. Can you sense if there's more weight through one leg than the other? Are there any parts of your body that want to start peeling away from the wall? What's happening in your calves and your ankles? Are any of your calves and ankles on one leg starting to feel uncomfortable, starting to groan a little? Once again, all information. So just notice this. Notice where you are right now. Then bring yourselves down to the floor. Allow your legs to lengthen out. Quickest body scan on the floor ever. I want you to remember what you felt against the wall and notice that now you're laid on the floor, are you feeling something similar? So when we lay down and we relax, we'd like to think that everything just lets go and just relaxes, but those patterns of tension are still there. So noticing the weight of each heel into the earth, how the feet have arranged themselves, maybe one's fallen more to the side than the other. What you can sense and feel through the legs, so the length and the weight of each leg into the earth. Is there a difference left and right? Is there a difference between the distance between the back of each knee and the floor? What can you feel in the joints of the hips? And then bringing your awareness to the pelvis, how does each side of your pelvis meet the earth? So just like the heels, maybe one side's heavier, maybe one side's lighter. Your awareness then moving into your low back. As you notice the distance between each side of the waist and the floor, once again, is there a difference? Is there a difference in the length of your waist? And then allowing your awareness to move into the ribs. How does each side of your rib cage meet the earth? Same with the shoulder blades. Does one shoulder blade feel higher, one lower? Or do they feel the same? Tops of the shoulders. What's the distance between the top of your shoulders and the floor, left and right? Check in with your arms as you notice the length and the weight of each arm into the earth. Has one arm rolled outwards while the other arms may be rolling in? Have your arms arranged themselves differently? This is a reflection of how you hold your body in standing every day. The way that you do anything is the way that you do everything. Coming back to the neck, sensing the length in the back of the neck, And then noticing the length on either side of the neck. And has your head fallen to one side or the other? Then when you feel ready, you're going to bend the knees, bringing the feet to the floor, hip distance apart. We're going to start off with the breath. So I'd like you to softly breathe into your centre somewhere about maybe an inch or so just underneath your belly button. And as you exhale, just let go. Breathing into centre, sense your belly softly lift, and as you exhale, allow that to release. With your next inhale, I'd like you to imagine the breath moving into centre, and then like a wave, allowing your breath, the awareness of your breath, to move down towards your feet. And as you exhale, the breath draws back into centre. Inhaling, the awareness waving down through the legs. Exhaling, awareness coming back to centre. Then with your next inhale, I invite you to allow your awareness to move up into the ribs, to the top of the skull, and down through the arms into the fingertips. And as you exhale, draw your awareness back to centre. Now with each inhale, can you allow your awareness to wave out from the centre of your body? And each inhale to gather that breath back in. Inhaling, waving out. Exhaling, drawing in. So now we're going to begin to expand on this movement. As you inhale, I'd like you to let your belly lift towards the ceiling. You're going to softly roll forwards over the pelvis. And then as you exhale and you draw back into centre, can you allow your centre and your low back to move down towards the earth? So the inhale allows your centre and the front of your tummy to move towards the ceiling. Your low back arches. You roll forwards over the pelvis. As you exhale, everything drawing back into centre. Your centre moving down towards the earth. As your low back lengthens into the earth, the top of the pelvis tips into the floor and your tailbone tips up. As you inhale this time, can you allow this movement to expand to take in your rib cage? Sense your ribs draw down towards your pelvis, centre moving towards the ceiling. Exhaling, centre moving down towards the floor. Can you lengthen through your upper back? So building this movement through the whole of your body. This time as you inhale, can you allow your chin to move down towards your chest, your head to slide on the floor? As you exhale and your centre melts down into the earth, the back presses into the earth and the chin will gently tilt up. So moving your spine from centre, spine moving, opening and closing from the tailbone to the base of the skull. And if you can't do this, your practice will be for you to be able to break down this movement. Notice where the movement stops. Is it in your rib cage? Is it in the thoracic spine? If it's stopping, why is it stopping? Eventually you should be able to move from the tailbone to the skull with ease. As As the back flattens into the floor, the chin tilts up to the ceiling. As you arch the low back, your chin will come down towards your chest. Back comes into the floor, chin tilts to the ceiling. As you arch, chin comes to chest. Full body movement. The next time that you come down, take a moment there. I'm going to move into something called dead bug. So dead bug would be to bring your knees in towards your chest, your hands in towards your chest. We're going to move with the breath once again. Hopefully I'm not going to come out of shot. As you inhale, I would like you to roll to one side. As you exhale, you're going to draw the breath back into your centre, and this is going to bring you back to being on your back. Then you're going to roll the other way. Moving from your centre and using the breath. So you inhale to roll. You exhale, you draw into centre to come back to being on your back. Exhale to roll. The next time that you roll to your side, I invite you to reach out with your arm. Notice how this affects the centre of your body. And using that awareness of centre, you're going to draw back in and then roll out to the other side, reaching out with the other arm. How do your fingertips connect to your centre? Reaching out as far as you can, coming in as far as you can. Noticing that the further you reach out, the easier it is to come in. The more you come in, the easier it is to reach out. Then bring in the movement of your top leg. So reaching in front of you with the arm and reaching down and away with the leg. Moving from centre with the breath. Exhaling, everything comes back to centre. Inhaling, reaching out. Now it really becomes obvious. As you reach out, the further you reach out, the easier it is to come in. The next time that you come back to being on your back, just allow your legs to lengthen out, your arms to rest by your sides. Take a nice soft deep breath and just let go. So we're just going to take a moment's awareness here before we come to the standing movement. Moment to notice how your body now meets the earth. So remembering those areas of tension before, areas of imbalance. Has anything addressed itself already? So just noticing the length and the weight of each leg, weight of your pelvis into the earth, distance between each side of your waist and the floor, how your rib cage meets the earth, tops of the shoulders, the length on either side of your neck and your head. Has your head centered? Then when you feel ready, you're going to come to standing. So rolling over onto whichever side feels best for you. Bringing yourself up. So we're going to start off by bringing some awareness to the feet. So I'd like you to just stand, check in with your feet as best you can. See if you can centre the weight between the feet. Then I'd like you to lift up onto your toes. Notice what the heels are doing. Is one heel moved in, one heel moved out, or are they both doing the same thing? Then I'd like you to slowly lower down, as slowly as you can. Imagine the sole of your foot like the spine in the arch and flatten. Once you've come all of the way down, you're going to bend the knees and you're going to allow the weight to come to the inside edges of the foot, and I want you to sense your plantar fascia on the sole of the foot stretching down into the floor. You're going to straighten the knees. You're going to lift to the toes. Drop the toes back down to the floor. Then come back up onto your toes. It's okay to wobble. Wobbling is learning. You're going to come down. Bend the knees. Sense the weight come to the inside edges of the feet. Notice what's happened to the joint of the ankle. So your ankle joint has moved into dorsiflexion. So the angle between the foot and the leg is smaller. You're going to come up, lift through the toes. Then you're going to come back onto the toes. This is plantar flexion for your ankle. Rolling down as slowly and smoothly as you possibly can. Bending the knees, allowing the weight to come into the sole of the foot. Straightening the knees, lifting the toes. Coming up onto the toes. And then slowly lowering down. So at this point, if you're not used to strengthening and mobilizing your feet, you might feel that you need to take a walk around. You're probably feeling this in the backs of the ankles, your Achilles, and into your calves. Perfectly fine to have a wander if you need one. Pause the video and come back. There's no rush. This is all about learning. So as you were doing that, was it easier? Did you feel that one leg was doing all of the work and the other one was just following along? And if you can learn to sense and feel that, can you then start to balance that movement out? So to start off with, this takes some conscious effort. But once you put these movements back into your system and your brain recognizes the imbalance, it will automatically start to use these movements again. It's just that your brain has literally forgotten how it's holding itself. So from here, I'm going to turn side on. We're going to think about the movement from your core. So we're going to use the breath. We're going to use the movement of the legs. We're going to use the movement of the arms. And we're going to make one fluid movement throughout the body. So as you move, your joints and structures have got a pattern that should happen. And this should happen whether you're walking, whether you're running, whether you're dancing. There is a relationship to how your bony structures move. So to start off with, I'd like you to just think about an anterior and a posterior tilt of the pelvis. So a posterior tilt of the pelvis, your bum will drop down and your low back will lengthen. An anterior tilt of the pelvis is like a duck bum, so your bum is going to stick out and the arch in the low back is going to increase. So I'd like you to just play with this movement and see if you can get a sense of how you're doing it. Are you doing it just from the low back? So are you literally sticking your bum out? Is your chest coming forwards in order for you to be able to stick your bum out? So just have a little play, notice what's happening. Now we are going to, and I'll just turn to the camera for a moment. As your pelvis moves into that anterior tilt, I want you to think about rolling the knees in. Turning back to the sides. So coming into that anterior tilt of the pelvis, your knees will roll in. Posterior tilt of the pelvis, thighs and the knees roll out. So you're moving your bones here. Notice what's happening through your feet. Is anything happening through your feet? Something should be. Can you work it out? So as the thighs roll out, your bum drops down. Can you sense your glutes contracting? And notice not at any point did I tell you to contract your glutes. All I told you was to roll the thighs out. As the thighs roll in and your bum sticks out, can you sense your glutes softening, lengthening? Didn't tell you to soften your glutes. All I did was tell you to roll the thighs in. So we're looking at how the position of your bones and joints affects the muscles. So for those of you with tight hamstrings, and this assumption that they might be tight and short, they might need rolling or whatever, what if your hamstrings felt tight because you were always in an anterior tilt of the pelvis? So your hamstrings were always stuck long. What if all they need to do is learn how to shorten? From here, we're going to bring in the movement of the upper body. So as the knees and the thighs roll in, I'd like you to roll the arms out. I'd like you to let your chin come towards your chest and notice how the chest lifts up towards your chin. You're keeping your pelvis, ribcage and skull stacked. As you go the other way, your thighs are going to roll out, your arms are going to roll in, your chin is going to tilt up. So this is basically arch and flatten in standing. We didn't move the arms on the floor, but when we've done it in class, we do move the arms. I didn't want to overcomplicate the movement today. So seeing if you can find some sense of fluidity and ease here. And notice as you move, one side of your body will be lengthening, creating space. The other side of the body is shortening. Can you sense how the lengthening side of the body wants to shorten? It wants to move into the opposite position. So your muscles' job, your muscles only have one job, and that is to contract. Your muscles are there to bring your joints back together as you move. They are there to stop you falling apart. So if you move your structures away from each other on one side of the body, the muscles on that side of the body where the muscles are eccentrically contracting, lengthening, they want to shorten, they want to take you back in the other direction. So we've got this seesawing of movement. So now we're going to bring this movement into a yoga type flow. This next movement is quite challenging. I'm going to break it down. We're going to do it in small stages. Remember, we do not move into pain. If something hurts, do less. I'd like you to really build this movement from the feet up. So I want you to get the feet moving first. I want you to be aware of where your feet are and what they're doing. And then you're going to move up through the ankle, the knee, into the rest of the body. When we do the full movement, I'm going to bring in an eagle movement of the arms, but if you can't do that, there will be an option. So to start off with, building this movement up. I'm just going to turn to face you for a moment, then I'm going to come back to the side. So you're going to take a split leg stance. You don't want the feet to be too long that way away from each other. They should be about hip distance apart that way. So you're going to take the weight into the front knee, into the front leg. Your front knee will move inwards, your front hip will lift and possibly move out to the side slightly. Your back foot, the ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe are in contact with the floor. Can you rotate this back hip backwards, keeping the ball of the little toe, ball of the big toe in contact with the floor? Your foot does not swivel on the floor. All of your weight is in this front leg. You'll know because your calf will be telling you, you may well be shaking. What can you feel into the backs of your thighs? Where are you feeling this? So we're just going to move in and out. I'm going to come back to the side. Go this way on face. So we're going to go left leg forwards. So you're going to bring the weight into that front leg. You're going to try and keep your pelvis, rib cage and skull stacked. The leg which is backwards, so that's my right leg, leg nearest the camera, is going to externally rotate, toes stay on the floor. And you're just going to move in and out of this. How do you know when your weight is forwards? The weight will be in the toes of the front foot, and the heel of the front foot will still be on the floor, but it will feel light. Right hip is externally rotating. What can you feel in your glutes? So glutes of the left hip, glutes of the bent leg, eccentric contraction, they're lengthening. As you rotate your right hip backwards, so the leg, the foot that's moving backwards, rotate that backwards, what are the glutes of the right buttocks doing? They're contracting. Can you sense the difference? One side, one set of glutes lengthens, the other one contracts. This should happen as you walk. So we're going to build into this movement now. We're going to take it in to the cogs that we just did, but in a split leg stance. So you bring the weight forwards, weight through the front foot, back leg of back foot externally rotates, keep your pelvis to your skull and your rib cage stacked, and externally rotate your arms. Come out of this. When you come out, you can lift up through the front foot. This gives the opposite movement to the muscles, to the joints. So just getting used to that. Inhale to come forwards, inhaling into the chest, into the centre, exhaling to come back. So now we're going to add a little bit of balance to this. So for those of you who can do eagle arms are where your arms cross under each other. We turn at the elbows and then the palms come together. So, eagle arms. If you can't do eagle arms, when you come forwards, you're just going to roll the arms in. So just like the movements that we did in the cogs and that we've done in arch and flatten in class. Arms roll in, chin tilts up. Once again, we're going to build up slowly from the feet. So, movement that we've just done, external rotation of the right thigh, arms externally rotate, chin comes to chest, chest comes to chin. Now, as you bring this right leg forwards, can you think about pressing down through the ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe and the heel, but lift the arch. And notice as you lift through the arch, your leg automatically wants to straighten. Come back out. So when your foot is in this position on the floor, your plantar fascia is lengthening. Remember, muscles lengthen and then they want to contract. They want to bring the structures back together. As your plantar fascia lengthens, so do all of your extensor muscles, so all of the muscles in the back of the leg. All of the muscles from the foot to the hip now are long in the back body. They want to shorten. You can start this by pressing down, ball of big toe, ball of little toe, lift through your arch, and immediately you sense a lightness. So you're going to do that until you can sense that lightness. A note here about your feet. Strength and mobility in your feet is something that you can train just like any other part of your body. So if you've been told that your feet, you have one foot or both feet stuck in pronation, you can train yourself out of that. So if you want to know how to do that, get in touch with me. I do one-to-one sessions. We could have a quick chat and a quick look at your feet. And I can do them by video, or we can do them once we get out of this lockdown situation. But if your feet don't function properly, if you cannot open and close the joints in your feet and activate the muscles, nothing above it is going to move properly. So as you run, if you're running with pronation, even if you've got orthotics, all orthotics are doing, they're like a band-aid. They're literally propping the sole of the foot up, and they're actually stopping that reaction from happening. This reaction that we're creating now with that plantar fascia lengthening and then shortening to propel the body up. If you wear an orthotic, you are stopping that from happening, but you can create it yourself with a little work. So, continuing with the movement, you're going to come into the front foot, you're going to sense the plantar fascia move down towards the floor, you're going to lift through the arch, this is going to lift through the rest of the body. Right leg is going to draw through, and your chin is going to tilt up, you're going to round through the spine. Then you're going to slowly come back. When you come back, come all of the way back, allow that front foot to lift. Come back in, load the muscles of the front leg, contract the muscles of the front leg from the arch of the foot. Coming back out, lifting through the front foot. This time, if you wish, you can add the movement of the arms. So the arm, which is on the front leg, is going to be the arm that goes underneath. So you're going to come into the front foot, lift through the arch, lift up with the leg, and bring your hands into eagle as you round through the spine. Chin tilts up towards the ceiling, and then move back out. So your choice, you're going to do 2 or 3. If you can do more than, I would say, 4 or 5, you're not doing it right. So I can do this with a pronated foot. So with a flat foot, I can still do that. But I'm not learning anything at all. The learning part of this is getting that lift, sensing how it feels when your structures stack, and that sense of ease and effort, lack of effort. Same movement, I can do it here, not learn anything at all. Leg, no learning, nothing going on, not activating my foot, and the whole point of this is learning so that you can move more efficiently. When you feel ready, you can come to the opposite side. So bending through the right leg now. Weight into the front foot. I'm going to run through quite quickly, but once again, you can break this down. Make sure that each area is into your system before you move on to the next. So taking the weight into the front leg, balls of the little toe, ball of the big toe, the back leg onto the floor. Externally rotate that back thigh, so your left thigh now. Notice your right glutes are in an eccentric contraction, so they are lengthened. Your left glutes have contracted, even though I didn't tell you to. So your glutes are reacting to the position of your bones. When you feel ready, you can bring in the movement of the arms. So remember, pelvis, rib cage, skull stay stacked. Arms externally rotate, chin to chest, chest to chin. Coming out. So just playing with this movement for yourself. What are your glutes doing? What are the muscles? Your extensor muscles in the backs of the legs and your flexor muscles in the front. One side of the body, your muscles will be contracting, the other side of the body, so this is left to right, not back to front. The other side of the body, you will have the opposite, eccentric, concentric contractions going on. So the next time, after you've done your split leg cog, which is very similar to Warrior One legs, but we're bringing the arms back rather than bringing the arms up. The next time, you are going to bring the weight into the front foot, and then you're going to press down through the ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe, heel, outside edge of the foot as you sense your arch lift. As the arch lifts, your body automatically extends. You bring the knee through and you rotate the arms in, chin tilts up. Coming back. When you come back, lift up through the toes of the front leg, give that front leg a little rest. Weight coming back into the front foot, back leg externally rotating, lifting through the arch of the front foot, lifting the knee. And then if you wish, you can bring in the movement of the arm. So if you're happy there and you can't do eagle arms, that's fine. If you want to do eagle arms, you're going to come through, lift up with the arch of the right foot. Right hand this time is going to go underneath left. And you're going to come into one-legged eagle pose. And you're going to step back. So you're going to do a couple more of them. Remember, if it's easy, you're not doing it right. You should be able to sense your muscles working. There will be some shaking. Once you've done your 3, we're going to come back to doing our little tests that we started with. So we're going to start off with a forward fold. So once again, just seeing how far you can come. Has anything changed? Is anything different? What are the length of your arms like now? So we've moved all of our structures so that they can find centre. So now, length of my arms, a lot more equal. Tension gone from the top of my shoulders. Coming back up, you're going to come and stand against the wall. Once again, maybe about an inch, you might need a bit more. Just make sure that you are stood up straight and that you're not leaning backwards. If you feel that you're leaning backwards, bring your heels back towards the wall a little more. So just check in here. Allow your breath to settle. That's been quite a challenging workout. Notice what you can sense and feel. Notice how the weight is falling through your legs. Does it feel more equal, left and right? Notice which parts of your body now meet the wall. So your ribs may still be away from the wall, but have they moved a little bit closer? If they have come to the wall, what's changed? What's different? Has your head come to the wall? Maybe it hasn't, but maybe it's moved a bit closer. If your head is on the wall, and previously you had to tilt it up to get there, will it come there now with the chin moving down towards the chest and your nostrils level with the floor? So just noticing what's changed, what's different. All you've done is change the structure of your body. We've moved your bones, your joints, in order to be able to recognize and release tension in your muscles. When you're done with that check-in, coming down to the floor, allow your legs to lengthen out, your arms to rest by your sides. Take a nice deep breath into your centre. And as you exhale, just let everything go. As you just allow the breath, the mind and the body to settle. And you take a moment to notice now how your body has arranged itself on the floor. So noticing the weight of each heel into the earth. Mine's definitely changed. How each foot has arranged itself. Is one foot maybe falling more out to the side than the other? Or do they both feel a bit more alive? Maybe they're both pointing up towards the ceiling a little bit more rather than just being flopped out to the sides. And maybe this position of your legs now feels effortless. Maybe when you first laid down, flopped out to the sides, felt effortless, but maybe now. It's like an effortless awareness, an effortless alertness to your body. So moving up, what can you sense and feel in the ankles, calves and the shins? Probably feeling quite a bit. Just allow all of that new awareness to settle in. Noticing the distance between the back of each knee and the floor. How your thighs are moving towards the earth, what you can sense and feel in your hips. How each side of your pelvis meets the earth. Length and weight of each leg. Then allowing your awareness to move into your waist, into the low back, as you notice the distance between each side of your waist and the floor. Noticing the length on either side of your waist. Has anything changed? Is anything different? Noticing how each side of your rib cage meets the earth. The awareness of your shoulder blades. And then the distance between the top of your shoulders and the floor. The length and the weight of each arm into the earth. How have your arms now arranged themselves? And then the length in the back of your neck, the length in the sides of your neck, and how your head has arranged itself on the floor. So just allowing all of this to settle in, as you allow your breath, your mind and your body to slow. And we're just going to finish on that gentle breath exercise. So as you breathe in, breathing into your center. Allow the awareness to wave down towards the feet. And as you exhale, allow it to draw back to center. So your breath like a wave on the beach. Inhaling. Moving down through the legs to the tips of the toes. Exhaling, drawing back to center. And then inhaling and allowing the awareness to move into the chest. Down through the arms to the tips of the fingers and to the skull. Soft, gentle waves of breath as you inhale, the breath waving out. And then as you exhale, the breath drawing softly back to your center. And then allowing the wave of the breath to move in all directions. So as you inhale, the breath moving out from your center. And as you exhale, allowing the breath to draw back in. As you inhale, breathing in awareness. And as you draw back in and exhale, just bathe in sensation. You can lay here for as long as you wish. When you feel ready, rolling onto whichever side feels best for you and bringing yourselves back on up to sitting. Take a moment and then move on throughout your day. And just as you move, notice what's changed, what's different. Is there a new sense of lightness, new sense of ease that you can take off into your day?